YB stays on your neck.
He's on my neck.
Think about my boy Anthony Joshua. You think what did you think about that fight?
Crazy.
Did you care?
A mistake, got hurt, and shit happens.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think all of us.
But he can come back and win that.
Yeah,
he
November.
Get it back though.
November.
His mind has to be right. He ain't gonna win it back if his mind's fucked up. You know, his mind gotta be right. He gotta dedicate his life to doing this.
Stay away from Drake.
Huh?
You gotta stay away from Drake.
I don't know who he gotta stay. We gotta stay away from himself. You know, when we go training, we go away in the mountains. We're staying away from ourselves and our thoughts.
Is that how you train?
Yeah.
Really?
In the mountains, away from everybody. It's the animals and the woods and stuff. And you're facing your demons alone.
So dope.
Well, his spirits are well. I mean, he's a great guy. I hope he comes back.
Hey, listen, his spirits appear well to you, but in his mind, what's going on in his mind? Yeah. Fuck. You know, fuck. That's what makes them. This stage of his life is really what makes him.
Yeah.
You know, because we already have money now. Now this is all about, now who are you? Now you're dealing with adversity. Who are you? What are you going to do now? You going to lay down now? And you say, hey, you got it. I don't want no more. You lay down and give it up. Do you believe in it? You got any fucking pride, nigga? What do you believe in? You believe in your ancestors? Believe in your mother, your father, your kids? What do you believe in? What are you going to fight for? And then it's up to him. I don't believe in shit, maybe. I got money. Maybe I don't believe in none of this shit out there said I was. And that's cool, too. But you just know who you are.
Yo, my dons, make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and obviously hit the bell for notifications. So we just heard there from Magic, Iron, Mike, Tyson. And the things he said in this particular video are really, really important. I really want to get in some depth with some of these because they've explained some of the emotions I haven't been able to get out myself. Anyway, let's take it from the top. So he starts off by saying Anthony Joshua can come back and win, but he's got to get it mentally right. Now, these are pretty generic stuff. I'm not going to spend any time on that. He then goes on to say, Anthony Joshua has got to fight the demons alone. I used to go in the woods and focus on myself and be with the animals and whatnot. Now, that's the first thing I heard, and I actually disagree. All of this Rambo-ish, oh yeah, in the woods and all this warrior business, a lot of them people will get in the ring and they'll jack anyway. What matters is being comfortable, yeah? Of course, in training, you need to push it, you need to be uncomfortable in training. But that doesn't mean you need to be in training camp depressed and whatnot. I remember a lot of old-time fighters would talk about how they miss their kids and their wife. I think there's a good balance there. Psychologically speaking, some people it might work for. Some people go in and being stressed and depressed, that might work for them, but I really feel this day and age, being away from your kids and your family and whatnot, I'm not so sure that works. End of the day, you've got 12 3-minute rounds, and a great example of that is Floyd Mayweather. He wasn't, yes, he'd train the hardest out of anyone, but he wasn't taking out, going to the woods and whatnot. He was at home with his children, with his girlfriends or whatever, his side pieces or whoever it was. He was around his team, and I think that's important. It's more important. Do what makes you comfortable. Some fighters, they love it. They love being isolated and whatnot. They love that whole. They love the idea of being Rambo, and that's great as well. Whatever makes you is what you should do more of. Now, if you're Ricky Hatton, then no. Ricky Hatton's the last person who should do more of him. He needed to be controlled in that sense because Ricky Hatton wanted to drink and eat and sniff. No good for boxing. But someone like AJ, who's got his lifestyle pretty sorted, I don't think that's so important, really. However, the next thing Mike wanted to say is exactly what I've been thinking myself. And he basically says, AJ, what do you believe in? What are you going to fight for? It's up to AJ. It's fair enough if you don't believe in nothing. If you don't believe in nothing, that's fine. If you don't believe in everything that everyone has talked you up to be, that's also fine. But you've got to know, as long as you're okay, as long as you understand what you are, that's what matters. And you've heard him say it better than I've just said it there. I can't swear, so that's why it doesn't sound the same. But essentially, what I've taken from that is, and this is what I've been saying, this rematch, I was more than happy if AJ put his hands up after this first fight and said, you know what, guys, I've made money, my heart's not in it, or I'm not feeling as hungry and as demonic and as ruthless and as menacing as I have before. If he did that, I'd respect him, and that's why I kind of rate Naz. Prince Nassim, because he had a run, got beat and jacked and quit. Fine, great, but he didn't waste no one's time. He didn't lead people on for loads of years trying to make... Do you know what I mean? He got beat and decided he had enough. Great, really respect that. And that's what I'm saying to AJ. This next performance, it needs to be menacing. Yeah? It truly does need to be menacing. And that said, I've got no problem with him. If he wants to make more money, he might be thinking, you know what, I can make $30 million for 3 more fights and lose them all. So why am I not going to do that? But I just feel he needs to be honest with himself. What is he doing? What are you doing here? And I guess some people could argue, well, he doesn't owe the fans nothing. He could be mugging us off now. He could know in his mind he ain't the same. No, I don't think that's the case. But I'm just saying, in his mind, he needs to know what's what. He needs to be clear with what he's doing this for. Is he, for whatever reason it is? Is it because within sport, you can have multiple motivations, but the minute their motivations change, as an example, when someone's up and coming, they might be half motivated for glory and half motivated for money. I think that's fine, but the minute you notice your objectives changing, so aka the minute you become all about the money, I just feel it just takes the edge off of things. And I use this example a lot of times, but McGregor, for example, McTapper, he was, in my opinion, he was quite, what's the word? I'm not sure, but basically, he ended up all about the money, and he just kind of lost all of it. He lost all of his edge. He lost all the edge he had, because he was all about the money and all about the hype. He lost sight on what the goal was, what the target was. Now, that said, AJ's not that kind of character. However, I will say this. Mindset isn't everything. And what I mean by that is this. You've got to also prepare yourself and surround yourself with the correct people to get you ready for that particular event. Meaning, having a great mindset. If you're really positive, if you've got a great mindset and you're running into a brick wall, that's obviously not going to work. Does that make sense? You can have the strongest mindset and the strongest direction, but if you're having the strongest mindset for smashing your head against a wall, I'm going to be really positive. I'm going to make sure I really hit my head on the wall. Hit my head hard on the wall. Then obviously, does that make sense? You're not channeling that energy in the right direction, and that's why myself and a lot of other people have been saying AJ's direction, i.e. the people he's got around him, the trainer and whatnot, might not be the right ones. But then again, I'll be more than happy after this rematch to say, you know what, guys, I was wrong. McCrackhead has come through, he's delivered, AJ's delivered, etc, etc. I just hope, and end of the day, AJ's a 30-odd-year-old man. He's got children himself, so he's his own man. He knows. I assume at this point he knows what he's doing. And if he wants to come in, if he trusts his team to bring him in overweight and with no cardio, that's on him. There'll be no excuses come November if he runs out of gas again. There'll be no excuses if he's over 250 pounds or over 240 pounds. Because how many times would you want to do? At some point you've got, as a man, you've got to take responsibility for the people around you. You know what, Rob? You've been my head trainer for 10 years. And every camp I'm coming in at 247. When I know that's too heavy. There's an issue there. Or Rob, you know what, Rob, I've been in for 10 years and I'm running out of gas after 3 rounds. There's an issue there. Basic issue. Rob, you've been training me for 10 years. And still, Dylan White's licking his chops to set me up with the left hook. Rob, you've been training me for 10 years and still, Andy Ruiz's trainer is setting me up for the right hand. These are the things, but he's confident. He said he knows where he's gone wrong, so let's believe in that. So based on that, well, what I'm trying to say is AJ himself needs to know what he's doing, because I don't care what no one says. The reason if you listen to my videos before this fight happened, I was sitting there saying that AJ's the most, he's like a Floyd Mayweather. He performs under pressure. He gets the job done, which historically to that point was the case. However, because we don't know what really went on that night on June 1st. I don't care what no one says. In my opinion, there's something fishy. Something was amiss. That's what we do know. Well, that's what I know for a fact. Something was amiss. Now, we don't know what that is. We really don't. But I hope AJ knows what it was, because it could be a multitude of things. We really don't know. And that's what makes it even more frustrating, because from our point of view, because we're completely in the blind, that could have been a mental break. I don't know. That sort of performance there could have been a complete mental break. Seriously. There was something not right in there at all. So the reason I say that is because he needs to understand that going forward. Because whatever reason that was, you've got to address it. It's no good saying, oh, I'm just going to come back and be better. I'm just going to come back. I'm just going to brush it under the table. You have to address that issue, whatever that issue is. And that's what worries me. I'm going to do a video on this in the next 3 days, but I'll quickly touch on it now. I've got a video coming out which basically talks about, has AJ actually taken responsibility for his actions? Or is AJ not taking responsibility for his actions? And what I mean by that is this. When things go wrong, they go wrong. When things weren't right, they weren't right. That's not making it excuses. That's the born bottom line facts. Yeah? If you broke your leg in training camp, as an example, you can't sit there and say, oh, well, I'm just going to take responsibility. It's my fault. It's my fault. You have to realise, oh, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be squatting 200 kilos the week before. As an example. You have to actually analyse where you've gone wrong and change it. Like, what worries me is sometimes AJ's so, I'm not sure what the word is, he's so self-responsible that he'll just say, oh, it's me, it's me, it's me, it's me. When in reality, if he actually looked at the situation, he may have missed things, i.e. maybe the trainer, i.e. maybe, does that make sense? You can't just internalise everything. Sometimes other people do have some responsibility. And that's where a good manager actually comes in. Or that's where good people around you actually come in who can pull you and say, AJ, wait there a minute, this dude here, you're a dietitian, or you're a nutritionist who's brought you in the ring too heavy time and time again. They need to go, because they're not performing. And that's what I'm saying. At top level sports, even though there's one person performing in AJ, it doesn't paint a true picture. A lot of naive fans and casual fans will say, yeah, it's Joshua's mistake. And in reality, it is. However, it's a big machine. It's a massive machine that's going on behind the scenes. And in my opinion, the nutritionist and dietitian would have to go if I was managing AJ. Because I'm thinking, how was he 247 again? And he was too heavy the last time before that as well. How is that possible? And that's the kind of analysis you need to be having. Whereas I feel AJ has whatever's gone on has gone on. Bearing in mind as well, it could have been the case. Allegedly, it was the case that McCracken put him in the ring with a concussion. That's another fireable. What's the word? That's another fireable crime in my book. If I was AJ's manager, or if I was around AJ, and McCracken put him in the ring after getting knocked out a week before, or concussed a week before, he would be going. In fact, he wouldn't have been in the ring, because I would have, as a friend, I would have stepped in and said, it's not happening. Or I would have come out publicly and said, listen, Eddie Hearn and him had put him in the ring, he was concussed. That's what I'd do. Simple as that, because them things need to be out there. But maybe it didn't happen. My point is, them there are the extreme cases. I'm saying on a micro scale or on any scale, I hope he's done the actual analysis, because in my own experience, sometimes as an athlete you can internalize it all and just say, yeah, no, it's me. I'm just going to work harder. But as I said, if you're working harder in the wrong direction, if you're working hard banging your head on the wall, that's no good. You need to be working hard and applying energy to the areas that actually need fixing. And I'm not confident in McCracken. I'm really not. I'm not confident McCracken's going to be able to show him the right direction, because he hasn't. As I said before, someone show me over the last 10 years the gradual improvements we've seen in AJ. Many people, myself included, I actually think he's gone backwards a bit since Tony Sims has left, or has visibly left. That's what I believe. I believe he's gone backwards. He looks worse now. All he does now is throw a single jab and maybe a bit of a 1-2. Before he was looking to step in and get on the inside. Now it's all it's diabolical. But anyway, as I say, I'll be happy to say I don't know what I'm talking about in 6 months' time. But and that's what's worrying, because that's the last shot. Then there is no room for excuses now. But let's see. I hope AJ knows what he believes in this fight. I hope he knows who he is and what he is. And it's going to be, from my fans' point of view, it's going to be we'll know what's what in the first round. We really will. It's not going to be this really won't be close, in my opinion. Within the first round, we're going to know what's what. We're going to know if AJ knows who he is. Because Mike Tyson actually, I'll end this video on this note. Mike Tyson literally says something that's really powerful. He says that, he says, what was it? So he's talking about from a personal point of view. He says, I'm not who they say I am. I'm not who they say I am. As in, AJ could be thinking that. I'm not who they say I am. I never said I was a machine. And that could be the case. That could honestly be the case. That it could be the case in November. AJ gets in the ring, and he weren't the person that we thought he was. That could, listen, it's a possibility. That could be the case. I just hope, like Mike Tyson says here, as long as he knows who he is, that's fine. He could be a Naz. Not really too interested in it, and we're going to know if he comes in there and gives us a AJ vs Ruiz performance. We'll know it's the business. If he goes in there and tries to fanny around, he's going to lose, in my opinion, and we'll know he wasn't really about it. That's what it comes down to. Are you about it or are you not? It's not even about winning and losing here, from my point of view. If I see a performance of AJ being about it, and he loses, Ruiz is the better man. Fair effing play to him. He beat the best AJ. That's in my opinion. I believe the best AJ is a man who comes there with a menacing demeanour. Like a Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was in there menacing. AJ was in there menacing. And using the Naz example again, even Naz to it, before Naz got beat up, he was pretty menacing as well. He loved it in there. You'd see Naz smiling. He was loving it, even when he got knocked down 3 times versus, I forgot the guy's name, but Kevin Kelly, that's it. Even when Naz got knocked down, in that fight and other fights, he loved it. He was happy in there. But in the Barrera fight, I don't know, that just broke him. I'm not even sure he went down in that fight, but either way, it broke him, and he realised he wasn't what he thought he was. But we're gonna see. Let me know your thoughts below.